everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Laurel and I am here with my 1 week baby update and postpartum update on baby Sawyer. Oh, this is baby Sawyer. He's a little bit milk drunk right now. Did you say hi? He waved. Did you guys see that? So this is officially our 1 week update. So I am 1 week postpartum and Sawyer is 1 week old today. And if you're new here, this is my third baby. He is my third little boy and my last baby. And I may just give you a super brief rundown of my birth story. My birth vlog will be posted by the time you guys see this, so I will definitely link that up here for you guys so that you can watch the birth vlog. But I'll give you a super quick rundown just because there wasn't a whole lot of explanation in the birth vlog because it was a C-section. So he was a scheduled C-section because my second son was a C-section, and that was just what was going to work best for the pregnancy and for me and for Sawyer. And we went to the hospital on August 14th for an 8 a.m. surgery, and Sawyer was born at 8:50 a.m. He came out weighing 9 pounds 12 ounces and 23 inches long. I'm gonna let that sink in for a second because every doctor and nurse that we dealt with since his birth has not believed me and has been shocked more so at his length than at his weight, because babies don't come out 23 inches long. Like, that is just insanity. Most babies come out like 19 to 21 inches is sort of the average, with smaller babies being like 18 inches and yeah, 23 inches long. And I honestly was smaller this pregnancy than I had been in previous pregnancies, so we really thought he was going to be the smallest of the babies, but he wasn't, and he came out giant, and I am very grateful for my C-section. I'll just say that. Everything went smoothly. The C-section went great. I also had a bilateral salpingectomy when I was in there, which means the removal of your fallopian tubes, not just the tying or cauterizing, but the actual removal of them, which prevents certain cancers in the future. So I had that done at the same time. It added an extra 5-10 minutes onto the surgery, but didn't add any extra recovery time or anything like that. And then I got to go back to recovery and be with Sawyer. So that's a really quick rundown of his birth, and let's jump into his 1 week update. So I'm gonna start with feeding. We are breastfeeding right now. I have not had success with my previous sons with breastfeeding, and this time also has been a struggle. Sawyer has a lip tie and a tongue tie, which we are actually having assessed and possibly revised on Wednesday, so 2 days from now. So I'll definitely include an update on that in his 2 week update, but it's been a tough go. I've had to supplement a couple bottles of formula when I've just been so sore I couldn't even bear the thought, and when he's just been so insatiably hungry and I have nothing left to give him. We're hoping that seeing this lactation consultant, she's also an actual family doctor, will give us a lot of tips, and hopefully she can revise the tongue tie and lip tie, and hopefully everything will be smooth sailing. But as for how he's doing with feeding, he's feeding really well. He's doing what he's supposed to, albeit with a sort of bad latch, as well as he's been doing a lot of puking, not like projectile or anything, just a decent amount of puking. He usually throws up a little bit after every feed. It is definitely getting better, and it's definitely much better when it's breast milk. The couple of times that I've supplemented with formula, it has definitely been way more puke. So that tells me that the breastfeeding is the right direction to be heading with him, and hopefully we can get that all worked out. He did have really mild levels of bilirubin, like a very mild jaundice when we left the hospital. So we've just been keeping an eye on that, and it is actually getting quite a lot better. His eyes have started turning white now, and his skin is definitely getting to be less yellow. So I know that the feeding is going well for him. We had his 1 week checkup this morning, and he was back up to 9 pounds 9 ounces. So almost at his birth weight at 7 days. When we left the hospital, he had dropped almost an entire pound. He was 814, which is still less than the 10% that they say should really be the maximum. So he did okay in the hospital, and now he's almost back up to birth weight, so that is perfect, and we are really happy with that. As for sleeping, it's sometimes a little bit difficult to get him to sleep just because he's fussy with gas and a little bit of throwing up and just being so hungry all the time and all of those sorts of things. That also seems to be getting better as he gets older, and he now has good 2 to 3 hour naps throughout the day, and at night he actually sleeps a good like 4 or 5 hour stretch, which is amazing, and I think a blessing of how big he was when he was born. It's really made all the difference in the world that my husband and I can get that solid 4 or 5 hour sleep right at the beginning of our night. And then he wakes up around 4:30 or so, and then I can usually feed him and get him back to sleep for another 3 or 4 hours. So that really has been a blessing. It has definitely improved how we've been feeling, and sleep is definitely going pretty well for us right now. As for other milestones and that sort of thing, obviously he hasn't really hit any. His head control though is pretty fantastic, obviously because he's so big, and that's really all that could be expected at 1 week old. He smiles when he's milk drunk, but obviously those aren't real smiles. But he is doing really well, and he is just the perfect little addition to our family. So we are very grateful for him. As for my postpartum update, at 1 week postpartum, I have lost 25 pounds, which sounds shocking and amazing and all of those things all at once, but I gained about 55, 60 pounds with the pregnancy, so I still have a lot to lose, and I still had 10 or 15 pounds on me from my second pregnancy. So ideally, I would like to lose another 40 to 50 pounds. But I think 25 pounds at 1 week is an awesome start, and I am really glad for that. Other than the soreness from the nursing, I'm doing pretty well. My C-section incision is almost completely healed, healing way faster than the first one did. And that feels great. I'm up and moving around, and that's not a problem. The one problem I am having is really bad gas pains up right at the top of my stomach, like right under my bust. It's debilitating almost, and it almost makes me wonder, like, did you put my organs back in the right place? Because this feels really weird. Like, I've been taking, because I often have really bad gas pains after surgery, I have had quite a few surgeries, I always start taking simethicone pills right after my surgery. So I've been doing that for the past week, and that's not even really touching the gas pains. I do actually feel a little bit better today, so I'm very hopeful that it's working itself out. But yeah, it's just a very odd thing to be bogged down with, especially when I'm feeling so well otherwise with like my incision and all of that. To have this annoying, super uncomfortable gas pains in my upper stomach is just, it's annoying basically. And I really am attributing a lot of my weight loss to that because I haven't really been able to eat much. I originally cut out dairy thinking that was the culprit, because I do have issues with dairy and gluten normally. I cut out dairy, I cut out gluten, I cut out coffee, and I was still having the issues. So I might go get a coffee this afternoon because having a newborn with no coffee is no joke. Anyways, that is mine and Sawyer's 1 week update. I will give you another little look at this precious boy. Oh, isn't he so sweet? And he's wearing his space pajamas for the eclipse today. They got little planets and rocket ships on them. Oh, the people want to see your face. There he is. Oh! Say cheese! I will quickly show you my postpartum belly before my camera battery dies. And I will be back next week with our 2 week update. Thank you so much for watching. I gotta go feed this baby, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.